President John Mahama appeals for calm after reports of planned militant attacks on Ghana.
Cocoa farmers call for government intervention as drought destroys their farms.
And Brazil's parliament begins debate ahead of President Dilma Rousseff's impeachment.
Thank you for selecting GBC24. Time to bring you News Hour. My name is Gifty Iji.
I am Shirley, and Robert Frimpong Manso is our signer for tonight.
And all the stories. Speaking at Kofodia in the Eastern region, President John Mahama expressed unhappiness over the handling of a national security intelligence report by the media on a possible terror attack on Ghana.
He has, however, assured the nation that everything is being done to ensure the safety of the nation. Napoleon Atikito reports.
The indication by Prophet T.B. Joshua that Ghana could become the next target of terrorist attack in West Africa causes a stir. Can this be true? Many have asked. Well, the Nigerian prophet had prophesied that it is only by intercessory prayer that the ominous prediction could be averted. The sub-region has been buffeted by recent terrorist strikes in Mali, Burkina Faso and the Ivory Coast. Unconfirmed sources indicate that arrested terrorists in the Ivory Coast had confessed to possible strikes in Ghana and Nigeria during official interrogation. It is very difficult to know the basis of spiritual postulations, but what seems to weaken the prophecy of the man of God is that he perhaps served notice only after information was extracted from the alleged terrorists. Whilst in Koforidua in the eastern region, President John Mahama said the security services were on high alert, but there was no cause for alarm.
Prediction also for one Nigeria, and there's been a general alert by the security services. It's a phenomenon that's affecting West Africa. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Cote d'Ivoire.
This was at a meeting with pastors in Koforidua. The president later went to Koforidua Zongo to greet Muslim chiefs and the people. He urged religious leaders to continue to pray for the good health of Ghana. Napoleon Atukito for GTV.
The U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Robert Jackson, says he regrets seeing the foreign policy of his nation, which led to the sending of the 2 Guantanamo Bay detainees to Ghana, becoming a political issue. Mr. Jackson, however, described the discourse about the Gitmo detainees in the media space in Ghana as healthy. The U.S. envoy said this when interacting with the media in Accra. Edward Nyako reports.
It is 90 days since the U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Robert P. Jackson, assumed office in Accra. His tenure is 4 years, but the last 3 months of his stay in Accra can easily pass as one of the most challenging due to the arrival of the 2 Gitmo detainees. The presence of the ex-detainees Mohammed bin Atef and Khalid Mohammed Salih Al-Dubi sparked heated debate in the media, with some Ghanaians calling for their departure, while others were of the view that they should be allowed to start life again in Ghana. Those who opposed the stay of the 2 Yemens cited their detention in prison in Guantanamo Bay for 14 years by the U.S. government for the alleged involvement in terrorist activities in Afghanistan as their reason. On the other hand, it was argued that the Gitmo detainees were never tried by any court and cannot be described as terrorists. The latter view is upheld by Ambassador Jackson.
The 2 ex-detainees who are here are people who went through an extensive vetting process, including being interviewed by your ambassador to the United States, General Smith, before coming here. It's in everyone's interest to give them another opportunity to have a normal life.
The U.S. envoy said discussions about Atef and Al-Dibi started in 2014. Leaders of the political divide in Ghana were consulted.
I think you need to ask Mr. Akufo-Addo that question. He was consulted, and since I didn't consult him, I don't want to mischaracterize his response, but he had reservations.
On the issue of whether a financial package was tied to the request of settling the ex-detainees in Ghana, he said no, but was quick to add that the upkeep of the ex-detainees in Ghana is the sole responsibility of the U.S. government. Ambassador Jackson expressed regret that the issue concerning the Guantanamo Bay detainees in Ghana became a political issue.
I am sorry that it became a political issue, yes, but I think it's healthy to have the debate about security and terrorism.
Terrorism was not high on the radar of Ghanaians, but development in Mali, Burkina Faso and the Ivory Coast have made many a Ghanaian to panic. But Mr. Jackson said the battle against terrorism is a shared responsibility. To this end, the U.S. will soon have training exercise with security agencies in Ghana and other African countries to tackle the challenge head-on.
We will have a number of members of the U.S. military here to do an exercise focused on terrorism. It's an international exercise that will involve both Ghana and the United States, but it will also involve Cabo Verde. This was planned before the arrival of the two ex-detainees, and it was planned before the attacks in Bamako, Ouagadougou, and Grand Bassam. But I think it's especially timely now. And the message that I really want to emphasize is that preparedness is the best.
Away from the security matters, the U.S. envoy who first visited Ghana in 1999 said the country has made a lot of strides on several fronts, including the economy, health, infrastructure, and governance. On a lighter note, Ambassador Jackson, who is celebrating his 90th day in Ghana, says he is already falling in love with some local cuisines like fufu and light soup, banku, and tilapia, but said the tilapia is too spicy.
Well, again, you're still watching News Hour on GBC24. In other stories, President John Mahama has inaugurated a ferry and water taxi for commuters between Agodeke on the Afram Plains and Pando Toko in the Volta region. The event was followed by the president taking a trip on the ferry between the distance. Absence of efficient water transportation between the 2 points meant that travelers used small boats, which on many occasions capsized and claimed lives. Napoleon Atukito with a report.
These were scenes at the riverbank in Kwewu West district of the Eastern region, a welcome party for President John Mahama. The president, the Minister of Transport and his deputy boarded a pontoon to Eche Amanfrom on the Afram Plains. Local fishermen could be spotted in a fanfare as their small canoes swirled around the president's voyage. He was met at the other end by a crowd. Even though Eche Amanfrom was not his destination, he stopped by to address the people. This was followed by a long journey by road across Donkokrum to Agodeke, another riverbank where the new ferry to be inaugurated by the president stood.
May all who board this ferry do so in comfort and safety. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Another crowd, which turned into a deba of chiefs and their subjects, could not be sidestepped by the president.
Water transport, provided pontoon in China. If we echo Makango, they were sharing home. If we Dabai, echo the Republic, also they were pontoon back home. And if we add also a chairman from and also they were pontoon home.
The historic journey began from Agodeke to Pando Toko. a voyage of about 2 hours in the night, which experienced rainfall midway through. The Volta Regional Minister, the Interior Minister and chiefs led the people to witness the new ferry berth at Pando Toko.
We've heard about the various accidents that have taken place on the lake because the ferry service was not taking place. Today, we have come with the ferry. We have tested it ourselves. We didn't come in the daytime, we came in the night. It sails safely between Agodeke and Toko.
Introduction of a ferry service and water taxis between Agodeke and Pando Toko by the government could be the masterstroke to save scores of commuters on this navigational route from needless deaths. Many travelers have drowned after overcrowded boats had capsized. Napoleon Atukitu reporting.
The Ashanti Regional Police Command, in collaboration with the Northern Regional Police Command, has arrested 2 persons suspected to be members of a car snatching syndicate. The 2, Enchidoku, age 30, and Abdullah Shaibu Gafaru, a 26-year-old trader, are currently in police custody.
Briefing the media in Kumasi, the Ashanti Regional Crime Officer, ACP Peter Baba, said the driver of the MTN-branded Toyota Hilux pickup with registration number JN852314 made a report to the police that the said vehicle, which he parked in front of his house at Nshiesu in Kumasi around 7 p.m. on Saturday, the 9th of April, had been stolen. ACP Baba said a message was quickly sent to all police checkpoints for assistance. However, an anti-theft tracking device installed in the vehicle revealed that the vehicle was heading towards the northern part of the country. The Northern Regional Police Command was therefore notified and the 2 were subsequently arrested. ACP Baba said Entry is a wanted person by the Buakwa police in Kumasi in connection with car snatching case. The suspects confessed in their caution statement that they removed the ignition housing of the vehicle and joined the wires to facilitate movement of the vehicle. They also admitted that the vehicle's original number plate was removed and fixed with a fake one to avoid detection. The suspects will soon be arraigned before court.
We are sorry for that, H. In other stories, cocoa production this year is expected to drop due to the long dry season in the country. The dry period lasted for over 6 months, forcing some farmers to abandon their farms. The farmers are calling for intervention from the Cocoa Board.
The once vibrant farmlands are now a pale shadow of itself. These farms have existed between 10 and 30 years and were contributing immensely to the production of tons of cocoa in the Ashanti region. Spotted along the Gnasusuo Junction on the Mankranso-Tepa Road are a number of dead farms. The cocoa plantations usually only shed their leaves during the dry season and develop new ones when it rains, but this time the trees are completely dead. Prior to this development, even during the lean season for cocoa purchases, most of the sheds in all the communities were full to capacity, but now operating below capacity. Apart from the drought, the land too has been overused and therefore needs fertilizer, which the farmers claim they do not receive the right quantity, even if they are supplied at all. The road is also unmotorable during the rainy season. The farmers believed the early supply of fertilizers, cocoa agrochemical seedlings, and emergency credit facility will be helpful enough to reactivate their farms. A visit to some of the farming communities in the Ahafano North and South in Ashanti, one of the major cocoa producing areas in Ashanti, showed that the farmers are desperate and are calling on the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to come out with strategies to address the challenge.
DDT contributed by Nipan 19 Yabako. Go and Nipan near Yard and the Twaba near the Diamond. And so,
a farmer at Camp Krum, Mr. Abdullah Sadiq, has stayed at Camp Krum for 43 years as a peasant farmer. Sadiq is appealing to the cocoa disease control units at Tepa and Mankraso to dispatch teams to the area to help them out of the situation because without expert advice, the farms will be destroyed.
ye ko abakosem mu Ghana aban adi ye ko ho mfaso a ye ntimi ncheke ono ko nhuna no nti esra aban se onye ye mmoa.
Mr. Kojo Isifu also has suffered the same fate. He is therefore appealing on Cocoa Board to help them to rehabilitate the farms, else they will be compelled to abandon them.
President John Mahama and Vice President Kwesi Mr. Arthur today joined the family of the late Joseph Boachi Dankwa to pay their last respects to the former Member of Parliament for the Ibuakwa North constituency. The politician and industrialist was murdered at his East Legon residence in Accra on February 9 this year.
The late Joseph Boachi Dankwa Edu was a chartered accountant and a member of parliament for the Ibuakwa North constituency. He was born on the 2nd of July, 1965. He attended the Presbyterian Secondary School at Odumase and continued to the University of Ghana, Legon. From there, he went to London to pursue a course in accounting. The late MP returned to Ghana in 1998 and set up the Automotive Spring Factory, with deals in the manufacturing and supply of car parts. He also set up the Civico Steel Company, which produces pre-engineered buildings and trailers. As an industrialist, he also had shares in Woolworths Ghana Limited, Swami Magazine, Bulk Rice Imports, and the Ghana National Lotteries. The late J.B. Dankwa Edu met his untimely death when he was stabbed to death at his Shiashi residence in Accra. A direct brother of his, Mr. Frank Edu, the managing director of Carl Bank, read his biography.
He often used to say, the difference between any two persons at any given time is how focused one is. And JB, my brother, was extremely focused. When he hatched a plan, he wholeheartedly went for it with determination and a resolve to succeed.
The late J.B. Dankwa Edu was eulogized by the government for his selfless nature and calm disposition.
His politics was decent, reconciliatory, and admired by all. All those who came in contact with him had cause to rethink their own politics. This nation appreciates your contribution. Fare thee well. We will not forget the part you played so well.
Tributes were read by his family, some on behalf of his wife, Mrs. Ivy Dankwa Edu, his children, and on behalf of parliamentarians and the New Patriotic Party.
JB was an inspirational leader. He loved to inspire others to make their visions a reality. As a leader, he had courage to hold the mantle of leadership, courage to face his worst fears, and courage to do what is right regardless of any obstacles. Oh Lord, who will destroy such a precious life?
My first encounter was not a pleasant one, as he had come in angrily accusing me of mispronouncing his name. I angrily narrated the incident to my cousin, who only exploded in laughter and said, "I've never seen you this angry about anything. I won't be surprised if you end up marrying him." On the 7th of September 2002, the Anglican Archbishop of Accra married us. I was his sweetheart, his Rolls Royce, his Odo, and that was all that mattered.
In Parliament, he served on a number of committees, including the Committee on Trade, Industry and Tourism, the Public Accounts Committee, the Business Committee, and the Special Budget Committee. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Yea, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. He had a bright future, both as an entrepreneur and a politician. Our party and nation have lost a positive spirit who had much to contribute to the future of our country.
In a sermon, a Presbyterian minister at the Accra Ridge Church, Reverend Dr. Jonathan Aite Mensah, described the late MP as someone who was helpful and stood for the ordinary Ghanaian. The remains of J.B. Dankwa Edu who once served as a Deputy Minister for Women and Children's Affairs, was taken to Achimtafo in the Eastern region to be buried on Saturday. He left behind a wife and 2 children.
Well, coming up is business.
Good evening, it's time to talk business. My name is Esther Edu Ohumo. The General Manager of Anglo Gold Ashanti Ghana, Mr. Eric Isubonte, has called for increased security at the mining sites of the company. He said this will protect the company's concessions.
Obuasi is located in the Ashanti region of southern Ghana, approximately 320 kilometers from the capital, Accra. It is primarily an underground mine operating at depths of up to 1,500 meters with a continuous history of mining dating back to the 1890s. The mine is situated in a largely forested region with surrounding land occupied by subsistence farmers. The mining concession covers an area of 47.5 hectares. 80 communities lie within a 30 kilometers radius of the mine. The company, which used to be wholly owned by the government of Ghana, was floated on the Ghana Stock Exchange, landing at the New York stock markets in 1999. But in 2004, Ashanti Goldfields merged with Anglo Gold. The last 3 years have seen the price of gold decreasing from $1,300 to about $1,200, and this has affected the fortunes of the mining giant. The knock-on effect led to a downsizing of the staff in 2014, but as the company works to hold its head above the waters, illegal miners known as Galamsey operators have encroached on struggling to hold Anglo Gold Ashanti slashed its staff strength down. Recently, the issue of illegal miners taking over the mining sites of Anglo Gold has raised concerns. To this regard, key leaders of the company in an interaction with the media made their grievances known as they paint the current picture of the site.
We are at a loss to understand how a clear directive has been ignored. This has had the effect of compromising the safety and security of the mine's resources and workforce, as well as the viability of the Obuasi mine.
The General Manager of Anglo Gold Ashanti Ghana Limited, Mr. Eric Isubonte, explained that the majority of the military on guard were pulled back and just a handful are present to guide certain limited parts of the infrastructure, but the directive has been ignored. He then mentioned some of the properties of Anglo Gold Ashanti that have been vandalized.
Electrical installations that support water treatment plants have been vandalized by the illegal miners. This has affected AGA Ghana's ability to treat water.
The continued presence of illegal miners on the Obuasi mine continues to jeopardize the primary aim of turning the mine into a long-life modern mining operation that will attract foreign investment, taxes and foreign exchange revenue to Ghana. Anglo Gold Ashanti has made an ongoing contribution to a range of sustainability and community-related areas in Obuasi over the last several years.
The Minister for Petroleum, Mr. Emmanuel Amakofibua, has expressed satisfaction about the repair works being done by Tullow Ghana on the floating production, storage and offloading vessel FPSO. The FPSO got damaged and has been shut down for the past 3 weeks. The Minister for Petroleum visited the oil fields to acquaint himself with steps being taken to restore the facility.
The FPSO Kwame Nkrumah can be described as the nerve center of Ghana's oil production. It serves as a vehicle for not only production of oil and gas, but also as a storage facility. It is barely 3 weeks now since the FPSO was shut down to pave way for major repair work on it. Initially, the completion date for the repairs was 5th of April, but managers of the FPSO say it has to be extended due to unforeseen circumstances. The Minister of Petroleum, Mr. Kofi Amabua, visited the FPSO to hold discussions with the oil companies to see what can be done to put the facility back on track. The Petroleum Minister spoke about the progress made so far on the repair activities.
But it's very, very clear that the damage is very serious and a lot of work is required to really get to the bottom, the root cause analysis of that happen. But we are very satisfied with the arrangement that has been put in place to ensure that we can begin oil production, even though there are things that must be done quickly. What we are doing on the government of Ghana side is to work closely with Talon partners to make sure that the steps that are needed to ensure that the offtake takes place, to ensure that oil production takes place, and ensure that all of that is done in a safe manner.
Talo Ghana and its Jubilee partners say they are working around the clock to put the FPSO back to work.
The second mini draw of the GN Bank People's Gift promotion for the Southeastern Zone, comprising the Greater Accra, Volta and Eastern regions, has been held at Hull. 17 customers who emerged winners in the draw will receive prizes ranging from motorbikes, fridges and mobile phones. The People's Gift promotion of the GM Bank seeks to reward customers of the bank for their loyalty to the bank and also to bolster savings. Management of the bank aims at using the promotion as a platform to shore up the customer base of the bank nationwide. The event, which is being held across the country, requires that customers of the bank deposit a minimum of 200 Ghana cedis or more during the period of promotion in order to qualify. In all, customers of the bank will be rewarded with prizes in 8 mini draws and a final draw later in the year. The second mini draw for the second Eastern Zone, which constituted the Greater Accra, Volta and the Eastern regions, has been held at Hull, the Volta regional capital. The first prize of a motorbike went to a customer at the Pom branch, Felicia Kofi. 16 other customers who emerged winners will also receive prizes ranging from fridges, television sets and mobile phones. The Southeastern Zonal Manager of the bank, Mr. Kofi Fosu, disclosed that plans are far advanced to establish branches of the bank in every major town in the country.
From those who have and in the meantime don't have use for it, to the areas or to people who are doing business so that we can turn value. And by so doing, we are contributing to national development.
The final draw of the People's Gift promotion of the GM Bank will be held in May, and the prizes at stake are Ford Focus Salon car, a trip to South Africa, and other consolation prizes. Closing trading activities for the week, the cedi appreciated by 3 pesos against the pound sterling and edged up by a peso against the euro. Let's have the interbank rates. On the international commodity market, light crude dipped by $1.04. You're welcome to the insurance news brought to you by SIC Life. Travel insurance gets a bad reputation sometimes, often because the insurance holders do not understand details and types of insurance coverage. Speaking to GBC24, Mr. Cecil Ribeiro, the Deputy Managing Director of Quality Insurance, gave some pointers on what to look out for in a travel insurance.
Apart from exclusions, there's something in insurance we call an excess. So, for example, it will say you will bear the first $100 of every claim you make. So that one, automatically the client will pay the $100. So I advise clients to always ask to look out for the excess. Now, apart from it saying that the client will bear the excess, there are some which says that the first $100, if the medical bill is within that $100, then you would have to pay for everything. The provider would not come in. That is another way of looking at it. What I advise customers to do is read your policies from A to Z, especially concentrate on where it says we would pay, concentrate on where it says exclusions, because those are where you would know that this is covered by my travel insurance or this is not covered by my travel insurance. Excess amounts are shown in the schedule of benefits. So if you don't look and read your schedule of benefits, you will not see.
Now, thanks for doing business with me. Have a good evening.
Good evening and many thanks for joining us on the health segment here on News Hour. My name is Evans Achampon. The Minister for Health, Mr. Alesegbefia, says in the past 4 weeks, there have been no new cases of any strain of meningitis and its associated deaths in the country. He stressed that the ministry would continue with its monitoring efforts and rapid response to the disease. Mr. Alesegbefia was speaking at a media briefing in Accra.
A number of meningitis cases were reported in 9 regions early this year. Reports from the Ministry of Health reveal that there were 2,184 suspected meningitis cases with 93 deaths. Bunahafo was the most affected region. 18 of its districts, including Tai, Techiman, Nkranza South, Jamai North, reported most of the cases. A number of outbreaks were also recorded in areas which are not within the meningitis belt. Ashanti region recorded 18 cases with 8 deaths. Volta region had 7 cases with 1 death, while the Eastern region registered 4 cases with 3 deaths. The Western region recorded 2 cases with 1 death. But now, no new cases have been recorded.
That season of meningitis is over because now the cases that we are getting now is drastically gone down. We now have only isolated cases, about 9 cases. And in the past, we had 2,000 cases and we had 90 deaths. And then, so it means the case fatality is only 0.5%.
The recent outbreak of meningitis started with a rare strain of pneumococcal and later became a mixed outbreak of pneumococcal and meningococcal meningitis. The rapid spread of the disease prompted the Ministry of Health to enhance surveillance, improve case management, as well as risk communication and vaccination.
Everybody should be looking out for it when we get into the season when there's normally an outbreak from October to March. Meningitis actually occurs every year, and therefore based on that, it's something that we should always be looking out for now, especially since it's showing that it can come in areas which we don't expect. Because it's normally contained and doesn't become an epidemic, but once you're containing it, then you don't have an epidemic.
The WHO country representative, Dr. Owen Kalua, commended the ministry for a good work.
And I think what is also fundamental is going forward, that we need to build our capacities for preparedness and response, to be able to prevent, to be able to detect and respond to public health emergencies.
The Ministry of Health assures the public of its continuous efforts to educate health workers and the public on meningitis, to enhance surveillance, provide laboratory test kits and logistics to the districts.
Now, pensioners belonging to the National Pensioners Association will soon benefit from an additional health insurance package meant to complement the NHIS. Unlike the NHIS, the pensioners' medical scheme does not expire nor require renewal by the pensioner. It will also offset the costs not covered by the NHIS at selected medical facilities across the country. The Bator Catholic Hospital in the Volta region is the latest facility to administer the pensioners' medical scheme. A report by Sarah Ofori.
The National Pensioners Association is an offshoot of SNET. It has a membership of over 66,000 nationwide. They were constituted to look out for each other's welfare. The increment from 2 cedis 60 pesos gratuity per month to over 200 cedis is widely attributed to the efforts of the National Pensioners Association. To address the challenge of not affording health care by most members, the association agreed to deduct 4 cedis from the monthly gratuity at source. With the collaboration of Liberty Mutual Health, the funds accrued are translated into an insurance package known as the Liberty Pensioners Medical Scheme.
Every month they contribute 4 cedis into a fund. That fund is then invested and churned over a period, and then out of which we would use to foot their hospital bills. So the structure then is that they're supposed to go to the hospital with 2 cards, the NHIS card and then the PMS card, so that for some selected services which NHIS is not covering or fully paying for, the PMS will take over that.
The Pensioners Medical Scheme targets government and faith-based medical facilities to provide the pensioners with services. Since it started about 2 years ago, the scheme has been implemented in 53 institutions in the Upper East and West, the Bunahafu regions, and now the Volta region. The medical facilities to administer the Pensioners Medical Scheme in the Volta region are the Volta Regional Hospital, Ho Polyclinic, and Fuega Catholic Hospital and the Bator Catholic Hospital, most of which provide tertiary health care. Chief Executive of the Bator Hospital, Simeon Amuzu, assured the pensioners of a service beyond their anticipation. He, however, expressed some concerns about the capitation system of the NHIS when it becomes fully operational in the region.
When someone comes ill and in pain, you can never send that person away without attending to the person. It's wrong. It's unethical. You understand? And so we'll be forced to take care of the person. But when, under capitation, when it comes to claiming that money back, a huge problem. Because in the first place, the referral process has not been duly followed.
Pensioners will be taken through body screening at the beginning of each year for them to adequately take care of themselves.
And if you need to buy spectacles, we will help you to buy the spectacles. But we will not pay for spectacles which will cost 1,000 Ghana cedis. We will help you with hearing aids. We will help you. And then we will help the men with their prostate problems. But it's not every stage of prostate. Until it becomes cancerous, we can be helping you. We will also take care with the women, the gynecological problems, that is the beginning of the cancers that they will suffer.
Pensioners are supposed to carry both NHIS and the PMS cards to the hospital. Unlike the NHIS, the PMS cards do not require renewals nor expires. Sarah Ofori, GBC24, Bator.
And that wraps up the segment. We'll return after the break with international news. Enjoy your weekend.
Welcome back. On the international front, Brazil's lower house of parliament has begun a debate ahead of a vote on Sunday on the impeachment of President Dilma Rousseff. Brazil's Supreme Court rejected a government injunction against the vote. Ms. Rousseff is accused of manipulating government accounts ahead of her re-election in 2014. She has, however, denied the charges and accused opponents of plotting a coup. Her supporters say the issue is not valid grounds for impeachment. Ms. Rousseff has vowed to fight to the last minute despite the desertion of 3 allied parties ahead of Sunday's vote. Brazilian media are predicting a close vote with 2 polls putting the number of those in favor of impeachment at 342. The critical 2/3 needed to send the motion to the upper house, the Senate. If the Senate endorses the move, Ms. Rousseff will be suspended for up to 180 days whilst an impeachment trial is held.
Now, the Belgian transport minister has resigned over accusations she ignored lapses in security at Brussels airport before the attacks of March 22. Opposition parties had been demanding Jacqueline Gallant step down. They had leaked a confidential EU document dating from 2015, which criticized security measures at Belgium's airport. Attacks on the international airport and the Brussels metro station by Islamic State left 32 people dead. The Prime Minister had previously defended Ms. Gallant and had told Parliament that her office had not seen the critical EU report. The report said the oversight of security measures at Belgium's airports were flawed and cited serious deficiencies in the way safety checks were managed. Up next is sports.
Some updates from the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. We are being powered by AJPS Tornado Betes. Let's talk on football now, where former chairman of the Ghana Football Association, Nana Sambru Butler, praised efforts at relaunching futsal football in Ghana. It was Nana Butler's tenure in office that Ghana raised a futsal team and finished second at the Africa Futsal Cup of Nations in Egypt in 1996.
Futsal serves other purposes apart from it being a recognized competition. It toughens you. It makes you think fast. Your limbs need to be swift, and it does not encourage hanging on. It does not encourage hanging on because you can only touch the ball, I think, 2 or 3 times. You cannot hold it more than that. And I found it very useful. So when I was the chairman of the Ghana Football Association, I introduced it during the gala. We tried it, but of course, when I left, it went off. Ghana did indeed participate. We participated in the African competition, and I think we went all the way to, I think, the finals, only to be eliminated by Egypt. Emmanuel Sekufo was part of the team. We did not pick up a team specifically for futsal, but we looked at players who had the requisite skills, who were intelligent, who were fast, who had accurate shooting, and composed a team. And we did very well at the African level, going all the way to the finals, if my memory serves me right. So that was the beginning of futsal. Then, just by mere coincidence, an NGO which I belong to, Play Soccer Ghana. Don't be deceived by the name soccer. It is meant for the deprived in society, but we use football as a tool because, you know, most people enjoy playing football.
So join us later in our bulletins for us to give you the complete pack of what Nana Sambru Butler said about this particular sports that will be reintroduced soon in the country. Still staying on football, the National Women's Football League starts tomorrow at selected centers across the country. Some officials of teams say they just can't wait for the kickoff. The 4th edition of the National Women's Football League kicks off this weekend across the country. 3-time champion 2nd D Hazakes Ladies Football Team will battle to defend their title. Representatives of the teams have given a gist of what to expect from their teams.
I stand on behalf of the Ghana Immigration Service telling you guys that we are going to lift up the cup and take it to our director.
On the northern sector, we play with some difficult teams there, all right. But our target is to make sure we win the northern side and come for the champions this season.
Police ladies, we are well prepared this time around as compared to last year. And we are hoping to lift up our achievements this time. We've been second in the second edition, third in the third edition. The fourth edition, we're expecting nothing but the ultimate.
Last year, we missed the boat by inches. My girls are poised to take the league this year.
I believe at the end of this season, we will lift the cup.
Last year, we were runners up, and our Zekers just took it. By God's grace, we have improved our standard to a certain level this year that we are going to take every cup that we are going to meet or come across on our way.
Meanwhile, here are the fixtures for match day 1. In the Southern Zone, Police ladies will welcome soccer intellectuals. Defending champions Azakes ladies will lock horns with lady strikers. Bafana ladies will tackle Samira ladies. Halifax ladies then settle matters with immigration ladies. In the Northern Zone, Fabulous ladies takes on Northern ladies. And Pemdakwa ladies host Sabayo Golden ladies. Lepo ladies will battle Prisons ladies, with Upper Real ladies battling Ashtown ladies. That's all for sports.
Good evening. Welcome to the art segment. My name is Valerie Danso. The Osofudazi drama series has been off the screens for over a decade. The hilarious local drama series is set to hit GTV on Wednesday, the 21st of April 2016 at 8 p.m. The Osofodadzi drama series ruled the airwaves in the 80s and the early 90s. It was aired on Ghana television on Sundays at 8 p.m. The local drama series was taken off air when the group split. Now, after 18 years, the stars are ready to hit the screens again with a big bang next Tuesday. The Arts Desk caught up with the lead actor of the series, Mr. Frimpong Manson, a.k.a. Osofodadzi.
Those days, the whole show was being done in English, but Nana asked us to do it in Twi and Nakan so that people would understand it perfectly. That's why we started doing it in Nakan, and now everybody's imitating us. Some stories are bad. It teaches the children to act normally, so they should write good stories to teach the society.
He said the new Osofodadzi series would bring back the hilarious adventures of the good old days, blending it with modern trends.
Expecting the public to see a hilarious shows and then a very educative show.
The scriptwriter for the new Osofodadzi series, Mama Oyenunu, said the storylines are captivating, exciting, but full of life lessons that can hardly be done away with.
I rather see it as a vibrant infusion into what we are seeing now. Most of the scripts are colorful, but they are not deep. And it is high time we put a certain kind of level in our scripts.
That's all in this segment. The weather report comes up next.
Now, thank you for watching. Expect us with news tonight at 10:30.
Good evening.